Hey, it's Hunt. You found Hunt on Saints. We're talking black and gold football. Do us a favor. Hit the like button, share your comments below, and hit that subscription button so you can get all of our content. Enjoy. So we're churning through Mike Clay's position group rankings for the NFL, talking about the New Orleans Saints. We just went through the offense, and in summation there, the Saints offense averages out about 21st to 22nd in the league. They think a lot of the Saints running backs, relatively speaking, not so much about the quarterbacks, wide receivers, or offensive line. So let's switch sides of the football and go to the Saints defense, which under Dennis Allen has been very good, at times dominant. And last year, early on, not as good, but they kind of found their rhythm a little bit in the middle course of the season. It's an aging group by my estimation, but still with a lot of guys who are playing some really good football. So the question is, what does Mike Clay think of them? Beck, we'll start with the interior defensive line. So this is only Nathan Shepard, Colin Saunders, Brian Brzee, Kendall Vickers, Jack Heflin. Does not deal with the ends. We're talking about defensive tackles exclusively. What do you think?
I am going to say 17.
It's worse than that. It's down towards the bottom of the league. And I think that's fair when you consider Colin Saunders and Nathan Shepard weren't great last year. It wasn't a complete disaster, but it wasn't very good. They tried to overhaul that. They let a bunch of guys walk, Onyemata and that whole crew, and they decided we're gonna make a couple of different signings. And they drafted Brian Brzee, who did show some flashes. They've got him at 29, which is way down towards the bottom of the league. I believe Brian Brzee can elevate this group. If he takes a big second-year step and becomes a real dominant player at times, that completely transforms this thing. So I think this is reasonable at 29. I think it'll be better than that.
Yeah, I agree as well. I think Brian Brzee had a really good rookie season, and if he takes a step forward, which he should, there's no reason he shouldn't have a better year than he did last year. He could be one of the better interior defensive linemen in the NFC South, especially the NFC South, probably the NFC as well. So I expect that group to be one of the better groups on the whole defense as a whole.
I grade on a curve with rookies. At quarterback, defensive tackle, like you're gonna have a good curve there. I'm gonna let you kind of figure things out. At tight end or running back, like let's hit the ground running and roll. And so for Brzee, I will take the flashes, any issues that he may have had, I'll kind of sweep under the rug. Let's see what he can do in year two. So I think that the Saints will be better than 29th there. All right, let's go to the edge. We know the names at the edge. It's Cam Jordan. It's Carl Granderson. It is now Chase Young on the corner as well. And then Isaiah Foskey and Peyton Turner round this group out.
I will think or expect them to be probably 22.
See, you flipped it there.
Okay.
He likes Chase Young a lot.
Yeah.
So 6 is where this group falls.
That's crazy. Yeah. Like I could see, obviously the potential is there with Chase Young, but it's remains to be seen.
Carl Granderson doesn't remain to be seen.
That's true.
14 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks. You put that on the other side of Chase Young. Those two guys combined for 16 sacks last year, and Young wasn't fully healthy. Now, he's not fully healthy today either, so okay. Cam Jordan last year, almost a non-factor. 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. But if you figure that maybe Cam's got 5 or 6 sacks still in him, and those two guys play like they did last year, well, now all of a sudden, you got 20 sacks, and that's a big deal. I don't know what you can expect from Foskey, and at this point, Peyton Turner is the same type deal. There is some potential there, but it is just that. They like the edge rushers. They got him at 6, which is good.
That's really good, and I guess I was definitely being a little bit harsh just because
Cam Jordan looked cooked.
Right.
Period.
And also just whether or not Chase Young
practice.
Yeah, is he going to be ready for training camp? Is he going to be healthy for the whole season? Is he going to play 16 games? That if he does, then that could be a top 10 pass rushing tandem there, but I'll be surprised if he does end up playing that many games. So I could see a top 10, but for me I would expect somewhere in the middle 10s.
Let's talk off-ball linebackers. That means the guys in the inside, not the guys who are rushing for the purposes of this conversation. Demario Davis, Pete Werner, Willie Gay, who they brought in, Keake Hudson, and Jalen Ford, who haven't done a lot here in New Orleans. But basically, you're talking Demario Davis, Pete Werner, and Willie Gay on the inside. What do you think?
I would say 9.
6, so you're right there. Demario Davis has been an All-Pro 5 years in a row, second-team All-Pro 4 years straight, has not shown any signs of backing down. I can promise you this. At some point, he will take a step back.
Yes.
I'm not ready to sit here in this chair and tell you that I know it's going to be this year.
No.
I have bet against Tom Brady. I have bet against Bill Belichick. I've placed some of these bets on these older guys to eventually this is not going to go so well. I'm not there. I'm there with Cam Jordan. And
yes.
I'm knocking on the door with Ryan Ramczyk. I'm really there with Ryan Ramczyk. I'm knocking on the door with Tyrann Mathieu as well. I'm not there with DeMario Davis. The guy can play. And
yeah.
That's a top 10 group.
And Pete Werner is really good as well. I think if it weren't for DeMario Davis, Pete Werner would probably get a little bit more talked about. But people that watch the Saints a lot know that Pete Werner is a really good linebacker. That's a really good tandem for sure.
So that's good for New Orleans. That's 2 consecutive number 6 units from edge rushers and off-ball linebackers. Then we go to corner. We all think a lot of the New Orleans Saints corners. Marshawn Lattimore is involved here. Paulson Adebo, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alontre Taylor. Like they got Hugo Amadi. They got a lot of dudes who have played a lot of football and are really talented. Where do you have the Saints at corner?
I'll say 13.
8, better than
Wow.
that. I'm surprised you went that far back. If healthy, that's really good.
If healthy, yeah, that's true. I was thinking 13 to 10. So 8 is good though.
This feels like a real hat tip to the number 1 corners in the league. Like you got Sauce Gardner, Jalen Ramsey. This is in order 1 down. Sauce Gardner, Jalen Ramsey, Denzel Ward, Trayvon Diggs, L'Jarius Sneed, Carlton Davis, Jalen Johnson. Those are the groups ahead of the Saints. I think those guys are carrying the water the most. I love the Dolphins have Jalen Ramsey and Kendall Fuller, and then you've got the Jets with Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed. But the Saints, the depth there I think is really good as well, and Lattimore can be a number 1 if he's out there. I would have probably guessed closer to like 4, but 8 is still very, very good, and that's 3 straight really good units for the Saints defense.
That's promising for sure. But the defense can't score points. So
no, they can't.
The offense is going to have to do that. So the defense, it's going to be great if the defense does play up to those rankings, but it's going to be up to the offense.
Last one is safety. We've got the safeties here at Tyrann Mathieu, Jordan Howden, Jonathan Abram, and J.T. Gray. I thought the Jonathan Abram signing was a good one to bring him back. He played pretty well last year, but Jordan Howden's going to have to step in and be a dude. We think he can be a dude. And then Tyrann Mathieu was not great 2 years ago. I thought last year had some turnovers and was okay. I was surprised to see him on top 100 players in the NFL. It looks like he may have lost a step and a half or so. But what do you think they've got the Saints safeties ranked here?
14.
19 is where they got them, right there in the middle of the league, and I think that's probably fair as well. So you look at this Saints defense from the front to the back. Interior defensive line, they don't like the Saints, 29th, but after that, 6 on the edge, 6th at linebacker, 8th at corner, 19th at safety. That all averages out to 13.6, so somewhere between 13th and 14th best defense in the league. If the Saints are going to win the division, it's probably got to be top 10, but it has that capability. If you just bump the interior defensive line down to like 22, maybe Brazil's that good, you're there. So you're not asking for a lot from the rest of the crew, maybe a little from Chase Young, but I think it's reasonable to expect the Saints to have a top 10 defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And not to mention the fact that they will be playing the NFC South, who are probably not going to be very good. The Falcons are expected to be the best team in the NFC South with Kirk Cousins, but he's coming off an injury, so is he going to be the quarterback that he was with the Vikings? I'm not sure. And the Panthers, Bryce Young are bad, and the Bucks are going to be in flux. So I think playing that many games against those teams who aren't very good, and then just having really good players on defense, the defense should probably be another top 10 defense.
So if I take the entirety of this offense and defense and average them, you're looking at 17.6. 17th, 18th best team in the NFL. That's pretty believable. I don't think anybody thinks the Saints are going to be an absolute disaster. I don't think anybody thinks the Saints are a Super Bowl contender. When you average this whole thing out, you're looking at a team that's knocking on the door of a playoff bid based on the schedule in the division, most likely. And by this metric, right there on the outside looking in, and that's right where they were last year. So I think I could quibble with some things here or there. I don't think the quarterback should be ranked 22nd. I don't think interior defensive line is going to be quite that bad.
Receivers at 28.
I think receiver could be a little better, and I think cornerback could be a little bit better. But when you average it all out, it kind of comes out to exactly where we think the Saints are going to be, which makes a lot of sense. So that's a look at your New Orleans Saint roster according to Mike Clay. You can find that article online at ESPN.com if you'd like to take a deeper look into it. I found it
pretty fascinating, quite myself.
Hey, it's on. Thanks for watching Hunt on Saints. Before you leave, help us out a little bit. Hit that like button, leave your comments in the section below, and hit that subscribe button so you get all our content right here from Hunt on Saints. We'll see you next time.